Are you headed south of Metro Manila today? While you're there, why not indulge in a good cup of coffee? Pia Bonalos knows just the place to get one. What's brewing over there, Pia?
Good morning, Hillary. Today I'm exploring the wonderful world of coffee. Its mere smell is enough to wake me up. I am here in Magnum Opus Fine Coffee in BF with owner Jonathan Choi to tell us more about it. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning.
First of all, there are different kinds of brewers I could see here, and these things I don't usually bother about drinking coffee. But here you want fine specialty coffee.
Yes.
So why do we have to brew it in these kinds of brewers?
Okay, so manual brewing is a process that we can control and play with. For instance, this hand drip, this pour over cone, it's similar to your automatic coffee maker at home, but as you can see, we have all the tools we need to dial in to give it a nice nuanced flavor. We have timers, we have scales, we have thermometers. So we like to really try and dial in the coffee just to make sure you get a very interesting, very tasty cup.
Okay, so that's the difference when you could control it. Can you show
Yes.
me a little bit how you actually do it with this
Yeah.
manual brewer?
So as it's always imported with coffee, you start off with freshly roasted coffee. So this is a Yemen Harazi Mountain coffee that we just roasted 6 days ago.
Okay.
It should be freshly ground to order. So this is something we really do here. So yeah, we have
That's
a
your
grinder.
grinder? Oh,
Yes.
cool.
So this is a grinder for brew.
You can see it there.
And this is something we let our customers do all the time when they order hand brew. We let them smell the grounds because
Okay.
it's really different to have freshly roasted coffee that was just freshly ground right in front of you. You get a really good bean sense of the bean fragrance.
Yes, exactly. It smells really, really strong. Like just one whiff of it, it just really woke me up. And from what I could smell, there's a little bit of, it smells very bitter, but there's a hint of sweetness somewhere
Yeah.
there that I could detect.
Yeah. So this is, well, the profile I get from the fragrance is a bit of chocolate and a bit of cherry. So you get nice bittersweet cocoa notes, but there's a nice complexity to it as well. So excellent coffees don't normally just taste bitter or flat or burnt. You get excellent flavor profiles as well, like fruit, floral notes, citrus, honey. So this is something we want to showcase. That's why we try to really control the brewing parameters of the
Okay.
coffee.
You just said cocoa and I'm like all excited to really taste that because I'm a big mocha drinker. I
Right.
always love having like a chocolate note in my coffee, but I don't
Yeah.
mind having like black coffee as well.
Okay, yeah.
Can you tell me about the name? Why do you call it Magnum Opus?
Okay, so Magnum Opus is a Latin term that means great work.
Ah.
Magnum is great, Opus is work. It's synonymous with masterpieces. It's what people will attribute to like artists or painters' greatest work. So we want to show that there's art in both the presentation and preparation of coffee. We use proper glassware for all our coffees. We use different methods to brew you a cup, and we're very transparent about it. We want to show you everything that goes into making a cup of coffee. So it is a science, but there is an art to it as well.
Yes, I could see because usually when I see people like pour water over something, you just
Yeah.
pour it right there. But you have like
Yes.
you're twisting it a little bit. You're
Yes.
doing a little bit of movement there. What does that do?
So this is called pre-infusion. Just adding a bit of water, opening up the grounds for the rest of the extraction. So you know your coffee is fresh when after you add water, it just rises up like a cupcake.
Okay.
So that's called the bloom. That basically tells you that your coffee is still fresh. It's still degassing. So yeah, now I'm extracting your cup of coffee. So this is something I'm brewing using controlled pouring, using the pour over method.
So that's, and then how many minutes would it usually take to finish a slow, is this a slow brew? What do you call it
Yes,
again?
we call it hand brew.
Hand
but yes,
brew.
it is a slow process. It's done per cup. So this whole process will just make you one cup of coffee.
That I love because sometimes when you go to a coffee shop, you know that the coffee they're giving you has been sitting there brewing for a long
Exactly,
time.
yes,
And then
yes.
when it's brewing for a long time, it gets really acidic. There's that
Right.
taste that I really don't like.
Yes.
And I always like send it back and ask for a fresh brew. At least if you do it like that,
Yes.
I know I'm assured that
It takes a
it's-
bit longer, but when you wait for your cup, but it's freshly brewed, a lot of the time it's worth it.
It looks really, really good already. But aside from this one that you're doing right here, we also have other coffee options that you have. Of course,
Yes.
you have the other espresso drinks that you have, and of course you have food. Can you tell me about this one with a nice little heart?
Okay, so this is called the Belgian Heartbreak. It's our take on the mocha, but instead of using syrups or a powder, we actually try and elevate the ingredients that we use. So for this, we're using dark Belgian callets.
What is a callet?
Callets are just basically small chips.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so they're easier to melt, but they're solid chocolate. It's not a powder with additives or a syrup that has all kinds of high fructose corn syrup. This is just honest to goodness, 60% dark chocolate.
Cool.
So we melt this, we blend
And
it
put
with
it
your
in your
milk, we
coffee.
pour it on top of your espresso. So you get a nice chocolatey mocha that actually tastes like chocolate and not sweetener.
I told you my love for mocha, and of course you told me that this is your mocha, and I have to give this a go.
All right.
This is really, really yummy, especially for all of you chocolate lovers out there who would love chocolate and coffee like I do. There's a perfect blend. You know that the coffee is there. The chocolate, because it's dark chocolate, it nicely complements it. It's really, really good. And I think it's perfect also for mornings. Because me, sometimes I get acidic also. So a
Right.
little bit of mocha would balance it all out.
Yeah.
That tastes really, really good. And then you have a nice breakfast sandwich right here.
Okay, yeah. So, well, coffee goes really well with breakfast. Since we're paying so much attention to our coffee, we didn't want to leave the food out. So this is called the Monte Cristo. It's basically French toast with a lot of breakfasty stuff. So you have homemade cherry jam, you have chicken roast, you have ham, you have 2 kinds of cheese, and that's with the French toast. So it's a nice, well, I actually have this for lunch, but it's a nice breakfasty dish that goes well with a lot of our black coffees.
Yum, that sounds so good. And then we have still 2 more cups of coffee there. Can you tell me what
Okay.
these are?
So this is a classic. It's a cappuccino. It's a double shot of espresso, and well, 1/3 of it is foam, 1/3 of it is steamed milk. So our cappuccinos are, well, while we do coffees like hand brew and mochas, we like to do the classics as well.
Okay, and then the last one right there looks really, really good.
Okay, so this is a dessert. It's called the waffle gato. So
Uh-huh.
it's a take on the classic affogato, which is basically vanilla ice cream drowned in espresso. But we like to play with textures, and we like interesting flavor marriages with coffee. So we put a bit of a crispy waffle there for texture.
Yum, I'm so looking forward to tasting that. But unfortunately for you guys, I won't be showing you how I would be devouring that. But for those of you who want to see all these kinds of coffee and you live here down south, you know where to go, only here at Magnum Opus Fine Coffee. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you.
There you have it. That's all for me right now. Back to you, Claire and Hillary.